everyone, I'm going to make a video really quick to show you what this week's activities are. So I'm going to show you some examples of how I did them, and then I'm going to send you some pictures through Remind to show you some examples how you can do those activities to make it easier for you. So let's get started with reading this week. For reading, it says read or listen to a nonfiction book. I sent a link of a YouTube video of me reading Tsunamis, and you don't have to listen to the whole video. It's about 30 minutes long, but you can just kind of pick a section that you want to read with me, and then you have to write down your top 3 favorite facts that you learned from that book. So what I did was make my own worksheet, and I said nonfiction book. So at the top there, I would write the title of my book, which was Tsunamis. And then it says to write down my top 3 favorite things. So I said 1, 2, 3. The number one thing that I loved about this book, and when you listen to it, I think that'll be your favorite thing too, is that the elephant helped clean up. And then it also wants me to say why. So I would say the elephant helps clean up is my favorite. And then I could go on to give a reason, because I love elephants, or elephants are awesome. Something like that. So you only have to write 3 facts. That's it for activity 1. For activity 2, you notice I have a number 2 here. This is both activities for reading on one sheet, so you can do that too. It says read a nonfiction book, which you can still use this book. You don't have to have a different one. And it says choose 5 words you don't know. So for the first one, epicenter was a word that I didn't know what it meant. So I'm going to write it on number 1. Then I would pick 4 more words that I didn't know. Then on the very bottom here, it says sentences with words. So I have to put epicenter in a sentence. And I also have to find the definitions of these words. So you can look on a phone, you can Google the word. If you have a dictionary, look in your dictionary, and you have to find the meaning of those words and write it on definitions. And then on the bottom, you write those words in a sentence. So number 2 has 3 parts to it, but it still can fit on one worksheet. So this is all of reading for this week. Okay, so I'm going to put it up here for example, so you can grab a picture of it if you want to. So that's for reading. Okay, for math this week, it says draw or find examples of the following 3-dimensional figures around your house. In parentheses it says sphere, cone, cylinder, rectangular prism, and triangular prism. Okay, so for math, this week in math, you need to find shapes around your house. You need to find something that looks like a sphere, cylinder, triangular prism, rectangular prism, and a cone. For sphere, I said a volleyball or a soccer. Okay, soccer ball. Cylinder, my water bottle is kind of like a cylinder. Okay. For triangular prism, I have yet to find something that is a triangular prism, so I left it blank. For cone, I said ice cream cone, because I like ice cream, and that's an ice cream cone. Rectangular prism, I said my kitchen table. Okay, done with activity 1. That's activity 1. Activity 2 for math, it says draw or use pictures to represent all the 3D shapes from above and list their attributes. That's how many faces do they have, how many edges, and how many vertices. remember, on an object, let's use this as an object. How many faces does it have? Well, a cylinder has 2 faces, one on the top, one on the bottom, because they're flat. How many edges? 0. And how many vertices? There's no points or corners to a cylinder, so that's 0 too. Okay? So, remember what those mean. You're describing your shape. So for a sphere, it has 0 faces, 0 edges, and 0 vertices. For cylinder, we just went over those. For cone, it has 1 face, 0 edges, 0 vertices. For rectangular prism, 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. So this is both activities on one worksheet, okay, and I made it up myself. So I'm gonna put this up here so you can grab a picture of it. Alrighty, now moving on to science. For science this week, I sent a video of myself doing the scavenger hunt. So your first activity, we're talking about seasons this week, and the season right now is spring. So I'm gonna go outside and do my own scavenger hunt to see if I can find the list of these things. Now, if you don't want to make a list, you can take a blank piece of paper outside and you can see what you find. You can tell me purple flowers, grass, bugs, and just give me a whole list and even draw me pictures, okay? Draw me pictures of what you see. Anything that you can find outside that has to do with nature and the season right now, which is spring, will be fine. But I liked to write these out and then I could just make a check mark of what I found. I didn't find a bird nest and I did not find any worms. Any extra stuff that I found, like lizards and spiders, I put on the extra. Okay, so that's activity 1 for science. Activity 2. Activity 2 for science says, use your 5 senses. What do you see, hear, smell, touch in the spring? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing one. Taste. So there's 5 here. I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I touch. So you can either write or you can draw. So outside tomorrow, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to draw a picture of what I see, draw a picture of what I hear, what I smell, what I touch, and what I taste. So what I taste in spring, you might be eating more of fruits or vegetables in the spring. Usually when it gets hotter, I don't normally want to eat other things like hot soup or things like that. When it gets warmer outside, I want to eat more things that are cold, like popsicles or fruit and that kind of thing. So this is activity 2 for science. So I'm going to let you zoom in on this one. Activity 1 first. So you can grab a picture of those things and then copy it if you would like to. Here's activity 2. Okay, and last subject that we're going to talk about, and we're going really fast, but this should be really easy for you guys to follow along on this video, and then it'll give you a better idea of what you can do for each of these activities this week. So for social studies, you can YouTube a video of how to be a good citizen. We've talked about this a lot though this year, so I think that you guys already know what being a good citizen means. You're going to list 3 to 5 positive behaviors that a good citizen shows. So for example, what I did up here, 3 to 5 ways to be a good citizen, and I listed all the way to 5. So just thinking about it, I know a good citizen would probably pick up trash off of the side of the road. So pick up trash. Also helping out around the house to clean. So helping clean the house. Doing the dishes. And that's 3 examples already. So I just wrote those down in a list. All right. And then the second activity for social studies is think about a time you were kind and showed good citizenship. What did you do? How did you feel, and how did the other person feel? Okay, I'm thinking, well, before all of this happened, a group of us friends were together, and I had offered to wash the dishes even though we weren't at our house, and I know that she really appreciated that. So I'm going to draw a picture of me doing the dishes at my friend's house for her, and I know that she appreciated it because she told me, and she thought it was very nice. So but here's a quick picture. It's not beautiful, but here's a quick picture of me doing the dishes, and then I'll draw my friend over here with a little smiley face and a speech bubble that says thank you. Okay, so on the bottom here I have some lines that I'm just gonna write what I did. So I would just write what I told you and say, at my friend's house, I offered to clean the dishes, period. She really appreciated it and was happy. Okay, so I have capital letters. I have 2 sentences in here. So here's social studies, both activities, so you can take a picture of that. This is an example. Okay, so that's all your activities for this week. I know that some of you are still working on activities from last week, and that's okay. Take your time, but what I would be doing is I kind of set up my activities. I do reading and science on Mondays. I do math and social studies on Tuesdays, and I only do 1 activity from those. So I'm only doing 2 activities per day. Okay, and then I'll do language arts and science on Wednesday, and then math and social studies on Thursday. So really, I'm doing 2 activities per day, and that's not a whole lot. You have 6 activities to do per week. So I know that you guys can do this. I know some of you are a little discouraged right now because you don't want to have to create all of your assignments, but it's kind of fun. It was kind of fun for me to create my own worksheet. I know it's hard to do that, but I hope these examples help you, and if you want, I can even send you pictures of these handouts and you can just copy them, what they look like, not what I write or what I draw. You can't copy what I write on here, but you can copy like the outline, what it looks like, and then put your own stuff in there, if that makes sense. Okay, so I hope this helped, and let me know if you have any more questions. Bye.